Welcome to another episode of Hot Mess Espresso. Let's get into this week. She's a Usui Reiki practitioner, a master/teacher of said practice, and homeschool mom. Please welcome Rebekah Tiffany. Hi, Rebekah.
Hi, everyone.
How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. So let's just dive right into it. Reiki, what are the different types?
Well, there are 5 core types of Reiki at this present time and about 20 or more sub-methods. And I myself practice Usui Reiki, which is named after its founder, Mikao Usui, which is a spiritual healing method using hands to transfer healing energy to the recipient or client, also known as Western Reiki.
Interesting. So, are there different types, or is that kind of the main one?
There are 5 core, and that's one of the 5. The other 4 is Sekhem Reiki, which is an Egyptian form. Then there's Jekiden Reiki,
Oh,
which
okay.
is an Eastern method. Karuna Reiki, which is a compassion action type, which was actually founded by another Reiki master, William L. Rand. And then Lightarian Reiki, which was inspired by Ascended Master Buddha. There is about 20 or more sub methods.
Okay, so there's a lot. There's a lot to it.
Oh, yeah. And some of the sub methods are a lot more well known, like Holy Fire Reiki, Dragon Reiki, Angelic, Kundalini, and Tibetan. But most of the other ones I haven't actually heard much about.
I haven't heard of any of those. So, and I mean, I'm definitely very interested in reggae because um it just seems like it can really help cleanse and heal and stuff like that. Do you feel it can help mental health at all?
Definitely. Reiki itself means universal life force energy. So, to me, when we are giving Reiki to ourselves or other people, we are replenishing our own life force energy. And it works on the whole system, mind, body, and spirit. So, if you have any emotional or mental blocks, it can help with that. It also itself relieves stress, anxiety, and helps with insomnia because it's a very relaxing practice.
So wait, to circle back a little bit, you can do Reiki on yourself?
Yes, actually, and Reiki
Huh.
1, that is when you are supposed to be practicing on yourself. It is when you're learning about the history, all the basics, and stuff like that. And they encourage self practice before moving on to level 2, where you can become a practitioner and practice on other people and learn symbols. Then the master teacher level 3, where you can learn more symbols and the teachings of how to pass on to others.
That is actually really cool. I feel like I should know these things, but I don't. So I'm very glad that you came on just for the sheer fact that I'm learning a thing or two because I'm one that does not go to sleep without my little ASMR or my like Reiki healing videos, and it's just very interesting to hear that there's a ton of different types. Now, random one-off question. Which Reiki is the one that does like all the symbols that they like draw into your aura, or is that all of them?
I believe all of them have different symbols, but just depending on which one you are doing, I think depends on what symbol you are learning. Because as I know, there are hundreds of symbols, like depending on the type you're practicing as well. In a Sui Reiki, I believe there's about 7 to 8, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, that we learn. We learn 3 in Reiki 3, I mean 2, and then in Reiki 3, I believe we
Mhm.
learn 5.
That is hella cool. So, on the flip side with all of this, how do you protect yourself when you are doing Reiki? Because obviously you're absorbing a lot of energy off of people, or even if you're not absorbing it, people are exuding a lot of because it's about the release of energy. So how do you protect yourself? How do you keep yourself sane, I guess?
Yeah, that is also a really good question. And I also suggest what I'm about to say to just everyday people because there are some people that are more sensitive to energy and they just aren't aware of it. The first
Right
one,
here.
yes, is grounding daily. Now, this could look different for many people. Grounding could be more of a meditational act wherein you are envisioning like either a cord coming out of your spine down into the earth or roots coming out of your feet down into the earth, and you are very body focused and you're releasing anything that needs to be released, either stagnant energy in yourself, energy you absorb for others, that kind of thing. I usually also focus on any blocks or limiting beliefs or conditioning I've picked up along the way. That way, it's more like a fresh canvas every day. And I also ground during sessions with actual clients and stuff. That way, when I'm doing it, it's going down the grounding cord if I'm picking up any of their stuff instead of into my field. And then another way is I
Gotcha.
intentionally dress with colors and jewelry that to me symbolize protection, as well as visualize like a white orb basically surround me all day if I'm out in public. I don't need that at home because my home is my safe space, but if I'm out in public and I'm feeling like there's too much people around me, just having that envisioned white orb in my mind really helps.
That's actually like super, super helpful. I think. Yeah, I need to get better at grounding. I know I do. Like I do. So, we're going to switch it up a little, which thank you so much for that information on Reiki. I think that is incredibly helpful. Um but you're also a homeschool mom, and we've talked about it. Your kids are not typical children when it like there's, some neurodivergency and stuff like that, which we clearly don't shame here cuz I am neurodivergent AF. Um so how do you structure a day with homeschooling, and uh kind of like a follow-up question, can you do you find yourself able to stick to the routine, or does it just kind of like vary greatly and, we just do what we can kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, when it comes to my oldest, he was diagnosed with ADHD and autism, and my
Mhm.
youngest has separation anxiety. So the homeschool actually works really well for them. How we structure the day as of right now is we start around noon or 1 o'clock, and it usually takes about 3 to 4 hours of the day. We start with like the curriculum work, which is like the main math, English bits, and whatever pertains to what they're learning about sciencey or landscape wise, like planets or Earth. And then we lead into the a break followed by verbal lessons and fun activities. And when it comes to the actual like routine itself, most of the time we can stay on it. It's just there's certain days where we'll have to switch it up and make accommodations. And as long as they know ahead of time that it's coming, it seems to run a lot more smoothly. If it's just a like, oh, surprise, does not go well for anyone.
No. Nope. I don't like surprises either, so I feel it. I feel it like a lot.
Yeah.
So, how do you handle kind of when, even if there like aren't surprises in the day, like you can just tell right off the bat it's a rough day. Like what kind of accommodations are do you make?
Oh, yeah. On the rougher days, I'll usually just tell them, hey, I noticed that one of you are having a rougher day, so we're going to do it a little easier for you. You guys can have the morning to do whatever you want. There's no really expectations then. And then if they have not felt better by school, I usually will simplify the day a little bit, which means just removing one or two of the subject matters, and they'll carry over to a different day to worry about, which just adds an
Right.
extra 30 minutes or so, depending on how simplified we're making it. So
Oh, that
that
makes
seems
total
to work
sense.
out really well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, as adults, we can't always mentally get everything done. And I think
Exactly.
that's the beauty and the flexibility of homeschooling, I feel that cuz I grew up homeschooled. So,
Mm.
I am speaking from experience that it doesn't always have to be so structured. I mean, there were some days that if we were doing a lot through the week, and especially because we were in theater. So, if it was rehearsal week and, we couldn't get things done. It was getting done, like, a couple things on the weekends, so we had, like, a lighter week, and then, like, we'd get some stuff done on the weekends, we'd double up the next week, like, that kinda thing. But I was in high school, and they were a little more stringent on the requirements, so it was a little more like, "You gotta get this done," versus are your kids, like, middle school age, elementary-ish? Like, I can't
Oh,
remember.
yeah. My oldest is in 5th and my youngest is in 1st grade, so thankfully the workload isn't too bad at the
Oh,
time.
yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is relatively simple-ish. I, uh I don't envy for when you have to get into algebra, though, because that is
Yeah,
the
I
one
don't
downfall to
either.
homeschooling.
I had to have my, husband help me learn the new math because of that. I was like, "They changed math and I don't understand it. Can you please help me? Because 'Cause I'm their teacher." So he literally would make a day to help me learn new math so I could teach it to him.
Wait, does your state do the Common Core too?
Yeah,
Oh god, that stuff makes no sense.
yeah.
I'm like,
I didn't
how
know
does
how to do
this
everything in a box. I was just like, "What do you mean?"
like, I did Saxon math in high school, and even that is simple compared to what the new math is. I'm just like, "I'm sorry, we have to what?" Like, I'm not looking forward to helping I'm not looking forward to helping mine with his math homework. I'm gonna be like, honey,
Oh, yeah. Right now we're on fractions, so I'm good.
fraction, yeah. I liked fractions in school, weirdly
Yeah.
enough.
Fractions
So,
is easy peasy for me. I'm like, "All right, fractions and decimals, we got it. Everything else, I'm tagging daddy."
yep, yep. That's that's when you're like, all right, it's like soccer practice. Like we're just gonna tag in. Like your turn.
Oh, yeah.
So, um, obviously with a sensory diagnosis, things have to change. They just do. You got to make accommodations, all of that fun stuff. And there might be a parent or two that are just coming into a sensory diagnosis for their kids or very much suspect that their kids are about to have a sensory diagnosis or just have sensory issues in general. What are some tips or what are some items that you absolutely cannot live without?
Got it. Well, an extra tip right off the bat that has helped a lot when it comes to my son is he has problems with eating still. Textures are a major problem. And for a while, they were concerned about that. But he will not eat anything that he does not like. So we have been able to come to terms with comfort foods because those are what work for him. That way, he's still getting nutrition and he gets his vitamins and stuff to make sure everything else is getting done.
Hmm.
And then another tip is going to places when there is less crowds because anytime there's stimulation involved, it does not go well if there's extra people on top of it. So, like when we went to Meow Wolf, it was a very overwhelming experience where I thought he would love it. And it was also because there were more people there. So, I think that definitely played a factor. And then when it
Yeah,
comes
for
to
sure.
actual like tools, comfortable earplugs for the auditory overwhelm, weighted blankies, unscented products, that kind of thing definitely helps.
Do you guys have a sensory swing?
Not a sensory swing, but we have literally a tub full of sensory toys. Like their number one favorite is did you hear about the Nido ice cube?
No, what is that?
It is like the most amazing sensory toy. So it's like you're holding slime, but it's in the shape of an ice cube and it even feels slimy, but you don't get that slime texture on your hands because it has this lovely, I don't even know how to describe the like wrap around it. You see it on most sensory toys, but the way it feels is like very cool and slimy, but without the slime texture.
No shit. How do you spell that? I'm
Mhm.
writing that down right now.
Needo, which is NEE, and then DOH, ice cube.
I might want that for my damn self.
Oh, yeah. I recommend it for any adults that love sensory too, because it's just such a fun thing to play with in your hands. When I got it for them, I would like take one when they weren't playing. I'm like, mine.
Right? Like, that is the fun part about some of the sensory stuff. You're like, "Oh, I coulda used this as a kid. I'm gonna use it now."
Yeah, they even have, sensory slugs now. Have you seen those? They're amazing.
No, what are they?
It's basically like a little slug, but each individual bit, kind of is detached. So when you wiggle them, it makes like a rattle sound and it moves through your hand like in a snake-like motion. So it's an auditory, like lovely buzz, and then the sensation of like the snake. But it's in a slug form. So people who love nature and love bugs love the slugs.
That is dope. That is great. I they've
Yeah.
come so far. We did not have things like this when we were kids.
I know. I just ordered them thinking putty too for Christmas because of that. Because of they love playing with things with their hands so much and it helps with regulation too.
Yeah. I feel like I'm the weird sensory where like I'm the opposite of needing like the weighted blanket or the like sensory swing, like being too enclosed just gives me the heebie-jeebies,
Yeah,
man. Can't do it.
it's all the
So,
preference.
yep. So I'm like the opposite with that, but I really like to kind of like I'm very hands-on. So something like an ice cube would be as long as it doesn't feel like extra slimy because I don't do like
Oh no,
slime
that's what
or
I love about it. No
ooh,
actual slime texture, but it feels like slime.
oh my god. I'm buying it. You get that shit on Amazon, I'm getting it.
Yes.
Sweet. I love being a Prime member. No, that is so cool. That is so cool. I really yeah. I mean, God, for adults and millennials, we had like the fidget spinners. That was like my first intro into any kind of like sensory tool. Like we didn't
Yes.
have this stuff growing up. It was just like you either liked being cocooned in a blanket or, you just weren't a huggy person and that was that. It had nothing to do with that is I love how far that they've come with like sensory stuff and that they don't make it just for kids. They're well, because how many adults do we know that have late 20s, early 30s ADHD diagnoses?
Oh yeah.
So many. I got diagnosed at 29, right
Mm.
after my
I
29th
haven't
birthday.
been I haven't been officially diagnosed, but I can tell that I have ADHD. Just because of my sense. I'm like, wow, this is where they get it from. I'm it.
Right? Like, it makes so much sense, like, all of the things that, you see your kids doing, and you're like, "Oh, that was me as a kid." Oh, like, oh, he'll just sit there and, like, read, he's got a book memorized, like, "Oh, that was me as a" oh, oh.
Hmm.
There's
It's all the
there's just a
little
lot
things.
of O's involved. Oh my god. This has been this has been so eye-opening on many levels, especially
Yes.
I mean, the Reiki was great, like, I loved learning about that, but I'm just over here on this, like, taking a bajillion notes on these different, like, sensory tools, like, RIP my bank account. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Oh yeah, they come out with the best stuff, especially
They
the
really
Nido
do.
actual brand. They have like so much more than just the ice cubes. They even have like the squishy things where it has the liquid and it goes from one end to the other, and you can keep squishing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Oh my god, I loved those, like, in the '90s, the, like oh my god, yeah. Oh, those were great. Those were so great.
Yeah,
I just like squishy stuff. Like, squishy
exactly. They got lots of it.
like, I would love Squishmallows, but I don't need another hyperfixation, and also, like, I don't know, something about the outside texture that just kind of, like I like it for, like, a little bit, and then, like, I just don't.
Yeah, my
Like
son describes it to like the silk pillowcases that like if you touch it for a little bit, it's okay, but if you're rubbing on it too much, you just can't anymore.
yeah, literally, you just can't anymore. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how to explain it, I just can't anymore. I love it. I love it. But we are actually gonna roll into rapid fire, holiday
Yeah.
edition. So, because I see those Christmas lights behind you. So we're gonna
Yes.
have some questions. It's just a very basic this or that. Just first thing that comes to mind. Uh, so you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Colored lights or white lights?
Ooh, white.
Oh, I love white. It's just so clean, so crisp.
Yes.
So, real tree or fake tree?
Fake.
Same. It's economical.
Mhm.
And if you anybody that's like, "Oh, real tree, I love the smell," then get a candle because cleaning up those pine needles when you have cats is literally like, no, thank you. No.
Yeah, definitely. And children that just go up and shake the tree because they get so excited. It's like, "Oh,
Oh
no,
my
thank you."
god.
There goes all the orbs and everything too.
I mean, we can't even have a tree because my one cat Nessa, we pulled the Christmas lights out just to see. Because last year we didn't have a tree either because I just had a suspicion that it was gonna be literally the worst idea ever. And then, we had the Christmas lights up and or just out, and Nessa walked over, and she likes to chew things, and I was like, "Ah, here we go." Like, I was thinking she's gonna chew through the wire or something. No, I just hear a crunch, and I'm like, "There's just a cracked Christmas light now," and I'm like, "Okay, glad we didn't plug that in. No lights? No." I'm just like, "I'm so glad we don't host Christmas because otherwise we'd be a little screwed." But,
Yeah.
you watched Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, Jack or Oogie Boogie?
Jack.
That's a decent choice. I don't know. I
Yes. I
I feel
love
like we don't
Oogie
know enough
Boogie.
about Oogie Boogie to, like, make a judgment, honestly.
Yeah, I love his character design, but as an actual character, no, Jack's better.
True. True. Michael Bublé or Mariah Carey?
Michael. I
I
cannot
can
stand Mariah Carey anymore. They play that one too much.
I love to torture my husband with that song. He's always like, "It's November." And the first year we were together, he came home from work and I, pranked his entire computer desk with, like, Dollar Tree, like, just the just most obnoxious Christmas decor I could find, and Dollar Tree actually does have really good Christmas decor, but I found the extra obnoxious stuff and just I mean, I had it wrapped around his Christmas or his computer monitor and all of this, and I had, um, YouTube pulled up on the TV, so the second he walked in, "All I Want for Christmas Is You" was blaring. And then he came home the next year. He thought he was, gonna miss out and I wasn't gonna be able to prank him because we were moving, and I picked him up from the airport, and the entire passenger side of my vehicle was coated in Christmas shit.
Oh my gosh.
I am that wife. I am that wife. And he's like, "It's
I love
November."
that.
I'm like, "Get over it." So last one, tinsel or garland?
Ooh, garland. I love making my own with, dried oranges.
I didn't even think of that. I'm such like a witchy human being, but I fail miserably when it comes to Samhain and Yule. Like miserably. I need to get better at this, man.
I just
Yeah.
started doing the garland myself because last year I bought one of those, dehydrators, and because I started doing a garden, and I'm like, "This gives me excuse. I can make my own garland and dried fruits."
Oh my god. That is genius. Why did I not think of that? I'm a bad witch. It's fine.
"There's still time, it's not you."
I know. I'm over here like get oranges from Whole Foods. Like, if there's something that we just don't use, I'm just gonna, like, put it in my little, like, dehydrator that we have because we have, like, the air fryer thing. Just put it
Oh,
in the
yes.
dehydrator. My husband's gonna be like, "Honey, why is there so much dried fruit?" As I'm, like, stringing it through, like, "Mind your business."
"Mind your
No, it's
business,
fine.
it's gonna smell great."
It's fine. He's pagan too, so he gets it. He's just gonna be like, okay. Can the cats get to it? No? Alright." That is what our life has come to. Can the cats get to it? It's fine. Everything's fine. But thank you so much for coming on and giving us all of this info. It's been incredibly, incredibly helpful.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast.
Oh, yay. We will circle back very soon.
Yes, I'd love to talk more.
Yes, we have so much to talk about, honestly. I feel like we just segued to another episode about all the witchy stuff. So we'll be back. We will be back.
Be back.
Hey everyone, Hunter from the Everything is Connected podcast here.
Heather from Hot Mess Espresso.
And Amber from Connection Over Perfection.
You know, in this world of endless chatter, finding genuine conversations can be a challenge.
That being said, we introduce Podcast Connection Network, a space where we lay it all out unfiltered.
Dive in with us. It's about authentic connections and conversations that truly matter.
To learn more about the network and each of our podcasts, click the link in the description below. The Podcast Connection Network. Never going to give you up, never going to let you down.